So moving on to registration revenue, this is the amount of revenue that you had for your regular 6+ or 4 to 5 camp. If you were at a center that only had senior camp 6 and up, it'll only say 6+ here or 5+. So for example, let's say the first week we ran the revenue report, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Let's just say it was $1,000. So we would just input $1,000 for the first week, and let's just say 500 for our junior camp. Now the next week, now this is the total together. So it's when you run the report. So in order to figure out the week revenue, we're running the report at the end of the week, and that's subtracting how much revenue we had from the week before to give you a total of how much you had that actual week. So for example, if week 2, our revenue up to date was $2,000, that would mean that we actually made $1,000 in week 2 because $1,000 of that $2,000 was for week 1. That's why we run the report every Friday at 6 p.m. So the scheduled reports will go to all coordinators for their center and all supervisors. Once you get that report, you're going to make a simple calculation and then input how much you made for that week or up to that date. So again, let's say for the 4 to 5 camp, let's just say we're at $1,500. We know that we used $500 as revenue for the first week. So that would mean we made $1,000 for the second week. All right, so we're going to hop onto ActiveNet right now. We're going to figure out how to run the registration revenue report. So we're going to click on reports in the top banner here. And then on the left side, we're going to click financial reports and go down to net revenue. Once this page is open, there's a drop-down list. Click on FlexReg program and then hit continue. And then you want to click on recall and you'll see your center listed there and you would click on it. So for this example, we'll hit CPRC 2019 and then we're going to scroll down and hit run report. So once the report opens up, we really just want to focus on the grand total line at the bottom, and we want to look at net revenue and deferred revenue. So deferred revenue refers to all the revenue that hasn't been accounted for yet. So it's people have paid for a service, but that service hasn't been provided just yet, and it's going to happen in the future. So for example, net revenue includes all revenue, everything in the past, everything in the future, all the revenue for the 6+ camp, and in this example at CPRC. Deferred revenue is all the stuff that's going to happen in the future. So for example, all the registrations in August, all the registrations in late July, anything past the date that I ran the report is referred to as deferred revenue. That's why we run the report on Fridays at 6 o'clock. So we're running the report at the end of the week. And again, these reports will be automatic. So they'll automatically go to your email. You come in on Monday, open up the report, and then you want to take the net revenue up to that point, so the 6 o'clock on Friday, and then you want to subtract the deferred revenue, so the $49,665.64, and then that will give you how much you made by the time that report was ran.